Can we make this fast? My dad's meeting the mayor at 11. The words came from Lucas Donovan, 24, standing at the defendant's table in Providence Municipal Court. He checked his watch. Twice. Judge Frank Caprio looked up from the file. Mr. Donovan, this is a courtroom, not a concierge desk. Lucas smirked. With all due respect, Your Honor, my family donates more to this city than most people earn in a lifetime. The gallery went silent. Officer Denton, the bailiff, shifted his weight. Ms. Reyes, the clerk, stopped typing. Judge Caprio closed the file slowly. Wealth funds projects, Mr. Donovan. It doesn't fund privilege. Lucas shrugged. We'll see. Subscribe if you still believe respect belongs in court. 10:04 a.m. Ms. Reyes adjusted her microphone. Case number 2025 TR 09211.
The City of Providence versus Lucas James Donovan. Charges: reckless driving through a school zone, destruction of a citation, failure to appear on 2 summons, and contempt of court. Lucas leaned back in his chair. His lawyer, Elliot Vance, stood. Your Honor, my client is prepared to pay whatever fines are due today. We'd like to resolve this quickly. Judge Caprio didn't look up. Mr. Vance, this court is not a payment portal. Elliot hesitated. Of course, Your Honor. I only meant... I know what you meant. The judge opened the file again. Mr. Donovan has a prior advisory from 10 months ago. Parking obstruction near a crosswalk. No citation issued. Just a warning. Lucas yawned. I forgot about that. Apparently you did. Judge Caprio looked at Lucas. Mr. Donovan, you're charged with reckless driving through a school zone. What do you have to say? Lucas stood. It was a tiny mistake, Your Honor. I was late for a meeting. I barely went over the speed limit. Barely? Maybe 10 over. 15 at most. Judge Caprio picked up a document. According to the complainant, Martha Ellis, you were going 43 miles per hour in a 15-mile-per-hour zone. Lucas waved his hand. She's exaggerating. Is she? She's a crossing guard. She's not exactly a traffic expert. The judge's expression hardened. She's a public servant who stands in front of moving vehicles to protect children. Lucas said nothing. Judge Caprio read from the statement. I saw him coming and blew my whistle. He didn't slow down. 3 children were halfway across the street. I had to pull 2 of them back onto the curb. If I'd been 1 second slower, they'd be dead. The courtroom was silent. Safety isn't a suggestion, Mr. Donovan. It's infrastructure. 10:11 a.m. Officer Paul Denton took the stand. He'd been on traffic duty that morning. Officer Denton, can you describe what you observed on the morning of September 12th? Yes, Your Honor. At approximately 8:04 a.m., I was positioned near Elmwood Elementary. I observed a black Mercedes sedan traveling at a high rate of speed through the school zone. I clocked the vehicle at 43 miles per hour. The posted limit is 15. What happened next? I initiated a traffic stop. The driver pulled over immediately. When I approached, he was on his phone. Judge Caprio leaned forward. Did he acknowledge the violation? Not exactly, Your Honor. He asked if I knew who his father was. Lucas shifted in his seat. I was just making conversation. Conversation? Officer Denton said. You told me your father's company funds the Police Benevolent Fund. You said I should think carefully about what I was doing. I didn't mean it like that. Judge Caprio raised a hand. Officer, did you issue a citation? I did, Your Honor. The defendant tore it up in front of me. The judge turned to Lucas. You destroyed a legal document? It was just paper. It was a court summons. Officer Denton continued. I informed him he'd receive a follow-up summons by mail. He laughed and drove away. Judge Caprio made a note. Fame doesn't qualify as a license, Mr. Donovan. Ms. Reyes stood. Your Honor, I have additional materials related to this case. Proceed. She handed the judge a folder. 2 voicemails and 1 email from Donovan Holdings Community Relations. Judge Caprio opened the folder. He read aloud. We understand there's been a misunderstanding involving Lucas Donovan. We'd like to offer a quiet resolution. Please contact our office to discuss a mutually beneficial arrangement. He looked up. Mutually beneficial? Ms. Reyes nodded. The first voicemail came at 8:01 a.m., 13 minutes after the traffic stop. The second came at 9:47 a.m., approximately 1 hour before this hearing. Judge Caprio set the folder down. Mr. Donovan, did you authorize these communications? Lucas hesitated. I may have mentioned the situation to my father's office. You mentioned it. They were trying to help. Influence is acceptable in philanthropy, Mr. Donovan. It is not acceptable in procedure. Timeline, 8:01 a.m., first voicemail. 8:47 a.m., email sent. 9:47 a.m., second voicemail. 10:02 a.m., hearing begins. If you believe donations should never buy leniency, subscribe to All Rise. 10:23 a.m. The phone on Ms. Reyes's desk rang. She answered, listened, then handed it to Judge Caprio. Your Honor, Martha Ellis is on the line. She'd like to give testimony. The judge activated the speaker. Ms. Ellis, thank you for calling. Can you describe what you witnessed on September 12th? Martha's voice was steady but emotional. Your Honor, I've been a crossing guard for 17 years. I've seen speeding before, but nothing like that morning. I heard the engine before I saw the car. I stepped into the crosswalk with my sign up. 3 children were with me. He didn't even tap his brakes. She paused. I had to grab 2 of them and pull them back. One little girl dropped her backpack in the street. She started crying because she thought she'd be in trouble. Judge Caprio closed his eyes briefly. Did the driver stop? Not until the police pulled him over half a block away. He didn't even look back at us. Every crosswalk is a promise, Ms. Ellis. Break it and someone pays. Yes, Your Honor, and it's always the children who pay. Lucas stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. I didn't hit anyone. Nothing happened. Judge Caprio's voice remained calm. Sit down, Mr. Donovan. No, I'm done listening to this. My family pays more in taxes than most of these people make in a year. We fund the roads. We fund the schools. We fund the police. He pointed at Officer Denton. We fund his salary. His voice rose. So when I say I barely did anything wrong, I expect someone to listen. Elliot Vance stood. Your Honor, my client is under stress. Lucas cut him off. I don't need you to speak for me. He turned back to Judge Caprio. My father donates millions to this city. The community center on Broad Street? That's us. The new library computers? That's us. Half the programs in this city exist because of Donovan money. The judge waited. Lucas's face was red now. So yes, I drove a little fast. Yes, I tore up a ticket. But let's be honest about what's really happening here. You need my family more than we need you. He took a breath. I own you. 5 seconds, 7, 10, 12. Those 12 seconds were the sound of power meeting principle. The gallery didn't move. Officer Denton didn't move. Even Elliot Vance seemed frozen. Judge Caprio finally spoke. You own nothing here but your conduct, Mr. Donovan. His voice was quiet but absolute. Your father's donations are admirable. They serve the public good. But they do not purchase exemption from the law. They do not purchase my conscience. And they certainly do not purchase the safety of children. Lucas opened his mouth. I'm not finished. The judge leaned forward. Privilege is a mirror, Mr. Donovan. It shows you what you avoid seeing. And right now you're avoiding the fact that you endangered lives because you couldn't be late to a meeting. Lucas sat down. Judge Caprio reviewed the evidence folder. Based on the dash cam video, Officer Denton's testimony, the body cam audio, 2 certified summons confirmations, and the attempted influence by Donovan Holdings, I find the defendant liable on all counts. He paused. Reckless driving through a school zone, destruction of a legal citation, failure to appear, contempt of court. Ms. Reyes prepared to record the sentence. The base fine is $900. I'm staying $400 of that pending completion of the following terms. Judge Caprio read from his notes. You will write formal apology letters to Officer Denton and Martha Ellis. These letters will be reviewed by this court before delivery. You will complete 150 hours of community service, 75 hours with the Traffic Safety Coalition, 75 hours with the Accident Prevention Program. Lucas stared at the table. You will record a public service announcement about reckless driving and privilege. This PSA will be broadcast in schools throughout Providence. You will complete a civic ethics module approved by this court, and you will write a 1,000-word reflection essay titled Power versus Responsibility. The judge closed the file. Mercy isn't a discount, Mr. Donovan. It's a lesson priced in time. He turned to Ms. Reyes. Additionally, I'm recommending the following policy changes to the City Council. A public donor influence log accessible to all residents. A municipal firewall preventing corporate contacts from interfering with legal proceedings. A school zone camera review panel. An offender education PSA initiative. And a citizen report hotline for traffic violations. Should every reckless driving case include community service? Tell us below and subscribe to All Rise. Ledger of deadlines. Apology letters due October 1st. First community service shift, October 5th. PSA recording, October 20th. Civic ethics module completion, November 15th. Reflection essay, November 30th. Return hearing, December 10th. The first 2 weeks were difficult. Lucas showed up to his Traffic Safety Coalition shift 20 minutes late on day 1. The supervisor, Maria Gonzalez, sent him home. We start on time here. Everyone's time matters, not just yours. He came back the next day. On time. Week 1 log, hours completed, 12. Hours rejected for tardiness or attitude, 3. Supervisor notes. Defendant appears resistant to instruction. By week 3, something shifted. Lucas was assigned to work with crash scene investigators. He saw the aftermath of reckless driving. Twisted metal, shattered glass, blood on asphalt. Week 3 log, hours completed, 18. Supervisor notes. Defendant asked questions about accident reconstruction. Stayed 15 minutes past shift to observe report filing. His first apology letter was rejected. Judge Caprio sent it back with a note. This reads like a legal memo. Try again with honesty. Lucas rewrote it. Officer Denton, I destroyed your citation because I thought my last name meant more than your authority. I was wrong. I disrespected your service and your integrity. I'm sorry. The second version was accepted. His PSA recording was also rejected initially. The tone was defensive. The words were empty. Take responsibility, Mr. Donovan. Not just for the speeding, but for the entitlement. Version 2 was better. My name is Lucas Donovan. I drove 43 miles per hour through a school zone. I almost killed 3 children. I thought my family's money made me above the law. It doesn't. No amount of privilege is worth a child's life. That version aired in 18 schools across Providence. Week 8 log, hours completed, 91. Supervisor notes. Defendant mentoring new volunteers. Helped design school zone safety checklist. Officer Denton was assigned to supervise Lucas's accident prevention shifts. The first day was awkward. The officer didn't speak beyond giving instructions, but by week 10, something changed. You're showing up, Officer Denton said one afternoon. Every shift,
No complaints. That counts for something. Lucas nodded. I didn't think about what could have happened that morning. I didn't let myself think about it. And now? Now I can't stop thinking about it. Martha Ellis sent an email to the court in November. Your Honor, Lucas Donovan stopped by the crosswalk last week. He didn't have to. His service hours don't require it. He apologized again. He asked me the names of the children from that morning. He remembered them. I believe he's learning. Week 12. Log, hours completed, 156. All requirements exceeded. Civic ethics module completed with distinction. Reflection essay submitted. December 10th. Return hearing. 10 a.m. Lucas stood at the defendant's table again. But he looked different. Not in appearance, in posture, in tone. Judge Caprio reviewed the compliance report. Mr. Donovan, I've received reports from your supervisors, from Officer Denton, and from Ms. Ellis. You've completed all terms. Your essay has been reviewed. He looked up. Would you like to share any part of it with the court? Lucas pulled out a folded paper. Your Honor, I wrote about what I learned. I thought power meant control. That if my family had enough money, we could shape the rules to fit us. But power without discipline is just danger. Real power is showing up even when no one's watching. It's apologizing even when it's uncomfortable. It's recognizing that every person, every law, every crossing guard matters as much as any last name. The courtroom was silent. I can't undo what I did, but I can make sure I never do it again. Judge Caprio nodded slowly. Mr. Donovan, I'm remitting the $400 in stayed fines. You've earned that through your service, but I want you to remember something. He paused. Authority is not for sale. It is for service. The moment you forget that, you become the person you were in September. Don't go back there. I won't, Your Honor. If you still believe justice should be earned, not bought, subscribe to All Rise. The policy changes were adopted 3 months later. The donor influence log went live in January. It listed every contribution from every entity with business before the city. Transparency replaced backroom deals. The school zone camera review panel started in February. Accident rates in designated zones dropped by 34% in 6 months. The offender education PSA initiative expanded. Lucas's recording was used statewide. He received letters from parents thanking him for his honesty. Richard Donovan, Lucas's father, attended a city council meeting in March. He didn't demand special treatment. He didn't reference his donations. He simply said, "My son made a terrible mistake. Your court gave him a chance to become better. I'm grateful." Lucas continued volunteering with the Traffic Safety Coalition after his sentence ended. He became a peer educator. He spoke at high schools about privilege and accountability. Officer Denton nominated him for the city's Restorative Justice Award in May. He didn't win, but the nomination itself meant more than any trophy. Martha Ellis retired from crossing guard duty that summer. Lucas attended her retirement party. He gave a short speech. Ms. Ellis taught me that the people we overlook are often the ones holding everything together. I'll never forget that. Judge Caprio's final words from the December hearing became the closing line in a documentary about restorative justice. He came in with a last name and left with a lesson. The courtroom footage went viral. 3 million views in the first week. Comments poured in. This is what justice should look like. Caprio didn't destroy him. He rebuilt him. More judges need to focus on transformation, not just punishment. Lucas Donovan became a case study, not in failure, but in the possibility of change. He proved that accountability, when paired with opportunity, can reshape even the most entitled mindset. Providence became a model city for restorative traffic programs. Other municipalities called to learn how the system worked. And in a courtroom where respect had been challenged, where privilege had tried to buy exemption, a judge proved that principle will always cost more than money can pay. Authority is not for sale, it is for service. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.